Ladies, being with the wrong man can literally ruin your life. And I'm gonna tell y'all the story of that one time I let a man ruin my life. And one of the biggest opportunities of a lifetime that can never be repeated. So it was 2019, and my boyfriend at the time, who I was dating, he had contacted this agency in South Africa and wanted to get signed. He wanted to get back into modeling again because he was an aspiring actor. But he was looking for a new way to get himself back in the industry. And so he reached out to this agency, and they ended up signing both of us. We take this trip to Africa. It was going to be a 2.5 to 3 month trip. And I was feeling a little pressure because around that time, our relationship started getting a little rocky. We started arguing more. We had this one argument where the police showed up at my place because he started destroying my things and throwing stuff around. The neighbors heard it. Cops came, and LA does not play about domestic violence. So they were like, girl, if you have a scratch on you, he's going to jail. So I didn't have no scratches on me because he didn't put his hands on me. He did push me, but I pushed him back, and he was shocked at how strong I was. Like, I'll whoop your ass, boy. Don't play with me. But anyway, so did you fart? I think my cat just farted. That stank. Disrespectful, sir. Because, sir, he just knows the energy. Sir never met him, but if you would have met this man, he would have clawed his face off. Anyway, so we go to Africa, and, he's like, yeah, I'll pay you back for the trip, when I make some money. Which it wasn't guaranteed if he was gonna make some money, but I was young and dumb, and I felt like I had to help this guy, because he was an aspiring actor. He didn't really have his career together. He was, hopping from place to place when I first met him. He was staying with a friend when I first met him. And it was just a situation where it was like a trauma bond, it was a trauma bond. I was heartbroken, and I got right into this relationship with this man. So it was always a little off, the relationship, to be honest, because I just wasn't healed. And I was young in my 20s, and I leaned on this relationship to fill a void that actually ended up creating a deeper hole in my heart. It ended up destroying me because this man started becoming abusive when we got to South Africa. And I should have known I was being taken advantage of. I was paying for everything. And a part of me was kind of taking pride in that, like, wow, I could take care of my man. But I was young, and I just didn't have a healthy sense of how relationships should be, Like, a woman should not be taking care of a man, especially in her early 20s. And that's where I messed up. I shouldn't have let this man come in. I let him come in, stay with me, eat all my snacks. I ended up trying to help him and took him to Africa with me, and he tried to make it seem like it was this thing where I got a sign. Boy, I could have gone to Africa without you. I could have done it without you. So he made it seem like he was doing me a favor, when really I was doing him a favor. I was the one who was a newly fresh signed model. I ended up losing my Wilhelmina contract, partially because of him, because I didn't want confrontation with him. And I just had some concerns, but he was like, you need to tell them, you need to talk to them. And I remember one day my phone was ringing and my agency was calling me, and I was just not ready to have that conversation, And I was just getting pressured by him, and the conversation didn't go well. I ended up losing my contract. I was like, yeah, we can go our own ways, because the conversation got petty. Not on my end, but it was just one of those situations where I learned how the industry worked real quick. And I was like, dang, like, how did something that was my biggest dream and biggest manifestation, I allowed it to slip out of my hands at the hands of another man? And that is just something that, like, still to this day kind of breaks my heart, because it's just, I mourn that young woman who just didn't know better. I tolerated so many things. I didn't know better. And a lot of the times women don't understand they're in an abusive relationship. They don't understand that you can be love bombed and the mask can slip later, and that's what happened to me. I mean, the first year was cool. Second year, mask started slipping, and he didn't become abusive until we got to Africa, which was terrifying for me because I was thousands of miles away from my family. I was there for work, and I was just excited for that. I was a new model, and I was trying to expand my career. I was excited for the opportunities, but I ended up fearing for my life. I ended up being so scared of him because he would get really aggressive, put his hands on me, and threaten my life. And at first I didn't really take him serious. But when he started threatening not only my life, but also saying that, oh, if my parents got involved, my dad got involved, he would kill them, I knew that at this point I was not just in a regular toxic relationship. I was actually in danger. My life was in danger. And this man, he really didn't have anything to lose. So that was also scary to me, because I'm like, this man really doesn't have anything to lose. And I felt bad for him because, I knew his background story, his family, very dysfunctional. Both of his parents treated him like crap. So that's where the soft spot in my heart was there that I had for him. It was in that family trauma. And, that's just not how you do it, ladies. If you're in your early 20s and you feel like you're taking care of a man, if you're not even in your early 20s, if you're just a woman in general, I don't care your age, you are not meant to be taking care of a man. Do you understand me? And especially if you didn't have examples of that growing up, maybe your father wasn't super involved in your life and didn't teach you that, and wasn't himself a healthy masculine representation on how to be a husband, how to be a father, just to be a masculine man. And I'm very blessed that I have been able to go out in this world and learn and see different examples of how love should be. But it took me to go through that toxic relationship to really understand my worth and to really understand how serious it is when you have someone in your life that doesn't truly love you, and you're with them and you're in their life. I don't care if it's even a romantic partner, it could be a friend, it could be a family member. If people are abusive towards you and draining your life force, causing chaos in your life, that's not love. That's not love, that's survival. And that's exactly what that relationship was. We were both in survival mode and trying to survive. I was trying to survive the heartbreak. I was trying to survive the fact that my mom's boyfriend had committed suicide, and right when I moved to California. And she was extremely depressed for years, and that was hard on me because I couldn't be there for my mom, and I couldn't be there for my siblings who were having to go through that with her. And my sister at the time, her lupus was getting worse and her organs were starting to fail her. So it was a lot of pressure. I just didn't want to be alone in a sense too, going through that. I mean, he just happened to be in my life, And when it comes to domestic violence, I can say that, I've witnessed that when I was young. And so I always shamed it, especially women who stayed in toxic relationships. And in college, I had a friend who had a friend that was in a domestic violence relationship. And I would always just be judgmental about it. Like, oh my God, I don't know why she's being dumb. She needs to leave him. I would, same way I would judge other situations when I was younger. Like, why is this? But it's a psychological thing. It doesn't just start abusive. You get bonded to this person. This person doesn't just come out slapping you around, calling you names, They start out love bombing you. They get you to trust them. And then they want control. They want power. So anytime they feel they're inferior, the mask slips and the truth always comes out. But then it could get really dangerous. And so it's very important for women to understand the red flags and to know when they're potentially being taken advantage of. And a lot of women go through this. A lot of women have men that are living with them. They're paying the bills. They're fronting everything up front. The man is not doing a damn thing. And that's so wrong. Shame on y'all men who do that. There are a lot of good men out there. There are men out there who work hard, who are family men, who respect women. But when I tell you there's just as much, or if not more, men out there who are looking to leech on the women who want a mother. They don't want a romantic relationship. They want someone to take care of them. They want someone to coddle them. Yeah, we're not babysitting men, okay? We're not. And I'm not gonna be there to assist them in their own downfall. Men need to learn how to grow on their own. Same with women. You gotta learn how to be alone before you can be in a relationship. That's where I messed up. I needed to heal from that relationship that I was in previously I needed to understand what exactly happened, how that affected me before I got into another relationship and allowed that to destroy me even more. I feel so sad sometimes because I feel like I lost a lot of time. I feel like I lost a lot of like my personality. I was just so beaten down. I had lost a lot of trust. It was hard for me to trust anybody. I lost confidence in myself because he was always just picking on me and cheating on me. And I was standing 10 toes down for this man, making excuses. And that is just wrong. It's absolutely wrong what I went through. And I learned a lot, you know. I feel like South Africa was supposed to be a beautiful time. I was paying for everything. So therefore I couldn't go out and really enjoy myself, you know. I was like taking care of a child. If I ate, he had to eat too. If I needed digitals or some clothes or something for a photo shoot, he needed some too. And what the fuck, you know? What the fuck is really what I'm sitting here like, the fuck was I doing, you know? Now that I am more mature and I've learned from that, I've moved on from that, I've healed from that, and I'm still healing because there's still a lot to unpack and there's still a lot that I don't talk about that's hard to talk about, you know, from that relationship. But overall, I learned the biggest lesson that I have no business being in a relationship if I'm not healed. I have no business being in a relationship with a man that is not aligned spiritually, emotionally, physically, who doesn't have a sense of purpose. I think that's where a lot of women have to understand that when you are with a man that's a good man, he has a sense of his purpose and he is on the path to accomplish his God-given gifts and goals. And it's no woman's job to lift up a man because you're going to be like that. He's going to end up resenting you, and that's exactly what happened to me. That man ended up resenting me. He resented the hell out of me because he saw that I came from humble beginnings as well, but I didn't make excuses and good things were happening for me. It was the start of my modeling career. I had gotten signed to Wilhelmina. I'm traveling the world. I'm in New York. I'm having all these different campaigns come out. I'm making money that I've never made. And a man came in to my life and took all of that from me. I lost money after that. I lost the agency. I lost the connection with my agency in South Africa. I came back. People weren't taking me serious because I had to be honest. I was like, I'm going through it. I'm stressed. And no one was hearing me. No one wants to hear that in this industry. They're just like, you're mentally unstable. Go fix it and let's make some money. But you know, I needed somebody and I didn't have people. I didn't have a strong community in LA. I didn't have anyone to just comfort me. And the people that I were confiding in, the women I were confiding in, were just judging me and, you know, not hearing me out for what happened to me. I was manipulated. I was abused. And when women that I was telling were feeling like I actually deserved it, that I was dumb or something. And that's my karma, you know, I guess, because I used to feel that way about women that I knew would stay in with toxic relationships. And it's just not that easy. Psychologically, the psychology behind it, domestic violence, it is a serious trauma bond and it is brain damage. Like, you literally have brain damage when you get traumatized. When you have pain inflicted on you, mentally, emotionally, physically, that changes your chemistry. It changes your whole biochemistry. It changes who you are, and that's exactly what happened to me. I changed. I wasn't the same after that. I had trust issues. I was sad. I was depressed. I was lonely. And the people in my life liked me better when I was down. Because when I started coming back up, crickets. It was intense for me. It was a life-changing experience to have to go through that. To realize that, man, a lot of times women, we think, oh, we gotta watch for that woman. We gotta watch for the snakes in the grass. You know, these jealous people. I gotta watch out for these haters. But sometimes the biggest hater you could have is laying right next to you. He's in the bed with you. He's inside of you. Literally. He's living with you. That is where you got to X that shit out. And being young and being vulnerable, I get it, you know. Sometimes you want to just have someone there. You want to be in a relationship because you're a relationship person, but no relationship's worth it if it's not healthy, if it's not based off of mutual understanding, respect, truth and honesty, admiration and love. If it's not equal, if you're not equally yoked, it's not going to work. There's always going to be an imbalance. So if you are the type of person who is in a relationship or likes to pursue relationships when you're young, that's great. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Everyone should date. Everyone should experience love because that's a part of the life experience. But you don't deserve to go through trauma and turmoil and stick with people that aren't good for you. Because I'm telling you, girl, you end up losing yourself. You end up having that energy vampire sucking all the good from you. That's whenever you start losing money, you start losing friends, you start losing hope, and you're wondering why there's a gray cloud over you. It's that man, girl, sis. It's him. I'm telling you, leave before it's too late. And the unfortunate thing is that a lot of women end up unalived because of these toxic relationships. I am so grateful to God. I am so blessed that I escaped that toxic situation, because I could have ended up dead. I could have ended up on the news. I could have been that model that was killed by her boyfriend in Los Angeles, and my family would have been devastated. That's how serious it was, and that's how serious it can be. Majority of homicides are passion crimes, are, you know, domestic violence cases. They are people that are close to you. So when it comes to a woman and a man dynamic that is abusive, sis, it's a 50-50 chance that if that man is putting his hands on you, that he could kill you. And that's how serious it is. And that's why I don't play. That is why I'm so serious when I let women know to not be centered around men. Let a man center you in his world, okay? That's how it should be. So ladies, we've all been there. Most of us have been there, where we've just been in a relationship that just wasn't good for us. Maybe we stayed too long. Maybe we entertained it too long. Maybe we had the wrong idea of how it could end up, but we had to accept the reality. And I had to accept that reality, and I moved on quick. As soon as we came back from South Africa, he had about a couple weeks until I was throwing his bags out of my little studio in Koreatown, and then I was ready to move on to new beginnings. And there's so many doors open, right? As soon as I kicked him out, so many doors open, y'all. So many doors open for me. The money started flowing in. I had to do a spiritual cleanse because I was having dreams of a demon chasing me. And come to find out, that's exactly what it was. He had a demonic attachment. And it's deeper than just, you know, the physical we see, y'all. This is all spiritual. He had a demonic entity attached to him. And he would tell me things like how his ex-roommate, that's why he moved out, is because his, you know, roommate was practicing black magic. His roommate was from Jamaica. They were both Jamaican. They ended up having something going on. But it could have been possible that he was hexed. He was cursed because things were happening to him. Like when I left for New York, he was like, I was scared. Your closet door was opening by itself. I had a white candle lit. One night, we were sleeping and it just caught on fire. The glass broke, exploded. I was like, this is weird. This never happened before. But weird things were happening. And now it all clicks and I see a part of me was there to protect him. Okay, let's just be real. Because that demon wasn't getting to me, honey, because I saw it. I saw it in my dream. Instantly banished that baby. Didn't have no problems after. But I'm so glad I had to banish that out of my life. And this is where I'm telling y'all, this is spiritual warfare. Sometimes the enemy can be disguised as your lover. Cut that cord quick before it tangles you up, wraps around your neck. You don't want that. You don't want a man to end you. And that's what it felt like. It felt like a man was ending my life. I was underweight. I was depressed. I was sad. I was ugly. My hair was thinning out. Man, being with the wrong man could make you ugly, y'all. I'm telling you, if that could be something enough to let y'all women stop messing with that man, that toxic man right now, I'm telling you, the wrong man will mess your life up and he'll make you ugly. I'm telling you. So yeah, I'm never going through that again. ever. And I'm so happy now I'm in a healthy relationship. But, you know, I was single for 2 years after that. After that relationship, I was like, I'm done with love. I'm gonna be alone, you know. And I casually dated like here and there, but it just wasn't like where I was, I need a man. I was just like, these men need me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that is some piping hot tea, y'all. That is some piping hot tea. And that's why I will never be sponsoring another man in my life ever again. Hallelujah.